All right, we're just gonna wing it. If we don't like it, we're gonna make another one. But here we're gonna go. Mr. Shoe, this is the setup. We got no air to run it, but just to kind of give you the idea, it is a pneumatic to hydraulic. So the air goes in on this side. When you work the pedal, yeah, there you go. When you work the pedal, it starts like a piston firing on the inside. It goes doo, 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 doo. And what that does, it turns around and pushes hydraulic fluid out of the line. Hydraulic fluid goes to a hydraulic cylinder, and that's your cylinder down there. And it probably has, I don't know, about 2/3 of that cylinder length, so probably, I don't know, 6-8 inches of stroke that it moves. And what it's moving is this cam, this big cam that's inside here. That's a little hard to see. And the cam has a like a movable ratchet that's inside there. Kind of just allows it to the chain to kind of roll around it. So you have an adjustment here. We'll get to that in a minute. The chain runs up the center of it, and then it has another pulley in the center here that's able to roll. So this chain's able to pull through there freely, is the idea. So that chain will continue on up right to your load, or to another chain that goes to your load, or to, you could split it or whatever you would like to do. But for all intents and purposes, we're going to call that winch a bent in frame that needs to be pulled out. So something has to counter that energy. You're pulling on there, the tower's just going to fall over. So what they do is you have those tie downs that would be in your floor. Cement block is pretending to be that tie down in the floor that you'd be attached to. And that's on this clevis bracket, which is kind of free swinging also, and just allows the energy to just go right through itself. You got about, I don't know, what's there, about 6 positions on that you can kind of move it around to. So in case you need to pull the load up, you want to pull it straight, down. I don't know how well you can pull it down, because at some points it's going to kind of make the whole thing kind of elevate up, but with some fancy tying down, you'll probably find a good way to go about doing that. It has these chain setups on it that kind of like lock back onto themselves. Now, I am a novice at this, so they may be used for something totally different, not even meant for that. But for me, that's how I had used it. Again, here's another one on the other side to kind of give you an idea. And this was a body shop where the guy passed away from painting too much without a respirator. And he ended up getting brain cancer. This came with it. I do not know where that goes. But I figure for well, shits and giggles, I'd show you and kind of give you an idea. It might have been a part of a bar or something, and I'm sure there's some pieces missing on this that I did not get with it, but it does function as it is. So essentially, if you're pulling a big distance, I don't think you get that much out of it. I want to say, like I say, if that moves 8 inches on the bottom, that's probably pulling on a chain of maybe about 4, maybe half of it. So you could run it through its full stroke of what it is, and say you got to go pull more. So now you'll have more slack in this chain. You can lift it out, pull it some more, and lock it back in, and then you can do another pull. It has a place to go lock the chain into here. I'm not quite sure what that's for. I don't know if that's just for if you're doing something else with it. You could leave a pressurized load on it and change it around. I'm not sure. Again, I am a novice on this thing too, so I'd say you're talking about using a winch. I don't think a 10-ton winch or 10,000 pound, like this is 10 ton, which is actually 20,000 pound, and if a winch was rated the same, I think this would probably lift this much weight right off the ground, but I don't think a winch will do that. Like this is a 10,000 pound winch. I don't know if I would actually believe that that could pull 10,000 pounds straight up in the air. Maybe with a couple of What were we talking about? Block and tackle kind of setup. You know, you go pulley to pulley, pulley to pulley, and you pull 10 feet of cable out, and it shortens up 2 feet. You kind of, you know, you gain energy that way. But I think these are more powerful, and I've had it where it's popped before, and it's not very violent. It's, yeah, it'll go boom and shake a little if a chain pops off. It's more the spring back on the metal that's being pulled than it is any of the chain or the tie down assembly of it. That's just telling you what size chain to use. Follow instructions that I do not have. So that's really about it. I'd say that probably weighs, probably about 200 pounds. So if you wanted to make something. I've also used what's worked for me in the past, engine hoist. I've taken the engine hoist and say if that's what I'm pulling out, I've taken the legs of the engine hoist and run them into the bottom of the car and kind of supported it against the car using like a 6x6 or a 4x4 going across the wheels and whatnot, and can put it wherever you want kind of around the car. And then just the back half of the engine hoist, I've just wrapped the come along right around that, and I've used that for pulling at different angles. Kind of the same idea as what you want to do with the winch, but you either got to support it off the car that you're pulling against, or you got to, you know, come back to the ground. And also, of course, you know, the vehicle has to be supported if you're doing a good pull. And what I've done in the past is I left my lift down. My lift is bolted to the floor, and I've run some chains from the vehicle to the back half of the lift and kind of pulled against those once the slack was out of it, and that seemed to work pretty good too. But you're trying to work with so many different capacities depending on what the accident is, how you want to go pull it. You know, each one's kind of its own thought process of how you need to go tug on it. But again, so that one you could change the height of it, different points on the I'm going to call it a mast, where you want to go pick from. If you want to pull straight, you need to pull uphill. You know, you could shorten it up, you could pull it away. That could be longer on the back side of it. But it's essentially going to point itself straight no matter what you do anyway. Even if you try keeping it on an angle, as soon as you tighten it up, it's going to go square itself off. So again, sorry if it's doesn't help you much, but it's kind of why I want to bring it over to air and hook it up to air. Another notch down in here, kind of the same as that, so you could probably be able to run the chain back around. Alright, well, I'm going to go shut her down so this isn't too long, but I hope that helps give you the general idea anyway. Alright, take care.